So the 155 spoilers are out, and we're still following the boys trying to recruit Hakari, but in this chapter, we're finally getting a meeting between the former and Yuji. Yuji and Hakari have a conversation, but Hakari finds out he's from Jujutsu High. Okay, so that was fast. One of the biggest aspects of this operation was to not have Hakari find out that he was from Jujutsu High. For the last two chapters, they went out of their way to make sure that wouldn't happen. But it was also heavily implied that, Yuji wasn't gonna do too well once he started talking to Hakari, and yeah, that's pretty evident here. Hakari starts fighting Yuji. All right, that escalated quickly, let's do it. Hakari doesn't know that Gojo has been sealed, so that's pretty interesting and I guess understandable, but shouldn't he have known what was going on in Shibuya at least? Unless he's like so within his own world that he just doesn't know anything else that's going on the outside. Like, it's possible he may never even leave that parking structure, maybe? Kirara versus Fushigoro continues. Okay, so that's picking up from the previous chapter. I guess Panda is still gonna be there too, but those four things I just mentioned off are mainly what this chapter is going to comprise of, I suppose, but now we'll go more in depth into that stuff. Hakari uses his curse technique. All right, here we go. Curse technique reveal from Hakari. By moving his hands, tatami mat-like objects appear. Yuji is then forced into a position resembling the execution on a guillotine. Unclear translation at the moment, so I had a feeling that this was gonna happen. Like, once we got to see what Hakari's curse technique was, we still probably wouldn't understand exactly what was going on with it, similar to what's going on with Kirara. I mean, on the surface, it seemed like his ability had something to do with magnetism, but maybe it's not that simple. Maybe it has something to do with constellation. We all know how Gege gets with these curse technique explanations. So I wouldn't be surprised if this tatami mat guillotine stuff is somehow actually like advanced calculus for some reason. But coming into this, we thought that Hakari's ability had something to do with like scales or something to do with his name, or at least that's what Gege said, right? It had something to do with his name, maybe. It was in his interview with Fuji TV where he said the way his technique works might not align with things and cause some outrage. He didn't elaborate on what this outrage could mean, but did mention that Hakari's power has to do with his name. Due to Hakari loosely translating to scales or having to do with balance, fans have taken this to theorize that Hakari's technique might just be too overpowered for the series. So I guess this is like some deep cut Japanese stuff then, like the tatami mat and the guillotine. It probably all has like this iconography to it that relates to balance, or it just relates to like an existing Asian mythology or something like that. Either way, I have no idea what's going on here. I mean, I haven't even been able to see a panel of this yet, and it's also saying the translation is unclear, but I also wouldn't be surprised if some of you out there already 100% understand what this is and where it's headed. So if you do know, please let me know in the comments. Hakari says to Yuji, want to drink something? Yuji says anything other than alcohol. And Hakari says Gojo didn't like alcohol either. After that, Yuji says something which revealed his identity. It was previously revealed in the official weekly character card that Gojo doesn't like alcohol. I mean, it's understandable, you gotta make him a good role model, right? But let's try to make more sense of this sequence. The leaker was asked, how did Yuji get caught? And he said Hakari brought up Gojo's name as a test to catch Yuji off guard. Gojo's too famous in the Jujutsu world, but Yuji tried hard to pretend that he didn't know. This blew up Yuji's cover. This is what I was talking about before, about how they weren't too sure that Yuji was going to be able to successfully convince Hakari because he's like not good at lying. So that led to this, and just instantly Yuji blowing his cover, revealing that he is aware of Gojo, which is obviously a dead giveaway. Hakari was already alarmed because of Kirara's attempted phone call earlier. Normally the two only communicate through line, so the phone call served as a warning. So we did see this in the previous chapter, and I made note of it because we saw Kirara dropping his cell phone. And I thought, okay, that's gonna come back into play since Gege like shoehorned that one panel in in there, but I guess the phone call was successful enough to get through to Hakari, which was made unclear before. Yuji is able to free himself from Hakari's restraint with a kick to the chin. Oh, okay. He then headbutts Hakari and tells him to listen to him. At the end of the chapter, Fushigoro uses his bunny Shinigami. Okay, so either Hakari isn't the super ultra overpowered sorcerer that we thought he was going to be, meaning that like none of the main cast was, you know, anywhere close to him, but maybe he's not that strong, because after all, Yuji was able to be somewhat competitive with Akotsu. I mean, after the fact, we knew that Akotsu, you know, wasn't like trying, and he clearly could have finished at any time he wanted with the assistance of Rika, of course. So it could be something similar to this, and maybe Hakari isn't like too threatened by Yuji, or Yuji is just legitimately overcoming him here. But also this could be implying that Hakari's curse technique is relying on him being like focused, maybe, because it says he's freeing himself with a kick to the chin. So either he's kicking him and then the tatami guillotine loses his effectiveness for a second or something, or he kicks him and then, I don't know, the leverage allows him to get out of it or something. But then he's like also headbutting Hakari. So I'm just a little confused by this fight, but still super intrigued nonetheless. But since this is at the end of the chapter, I guess we're gonna have to wait till the next one for them to have their serious conversation, to where Yuji like tells him everything that happened in the Shibuya arc pretty much. And Gege is probably just going to do that off panel, and we're just going to cut to Hakari being like, oh, so that's what happened. Well, I'm still not going to join you anyway, because that's also kind of become a cliche nowadays. You're under the guise that like, okay, this means that they're totally on board now, but then they hit you with the swerve and they're like, nope, I still don't want to come with you. Which I think Hakari is going to say at first, but he eventually will join them because he has to. And if he doesn't, then this was all just a waste of our time and Gege's time, which, considering the hiatus that he pretty much had to go on, I doubt he's wasting any time at this point. So once Yuji's like, you know, hey, you know, Gojo got sealed, Kenjaku's trying to take over the world with the culling game, we're down on some serious power, and we need all the help we can get, and word around town is that you're like on Akotsu's level, so can you help us? And he'll be like, all right, I guess so. And then Kirara comes with them too. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the spoilers, and I hope that this has given you more interest into the series. I have seen that interest has been declining across the board for Jujutsu Kaisen since the hiatus. I mean, it's like across YouTube, it's on the Manga Plus numbers, you can even see it on Twitter. It's really a shame, but I think it's just temporary. Once we get into the culling game and all that stuff is situated, I think we're gonna, you know, get back to where we were with the fandom before the hiatus. But let me know what you think about these spoilers in the comments, guys. If you liked the video, please give it a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.